Hello fellow modelers and styling fanatics, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is doing fine and enjoys the hobby. Concrete Bunker is back again today with another one of its notorious episodes. In this episode, me and Past George are finally wrapped up the Volkswagen Beetle Type 82E from CMK and kit number in 1/35th scale and kit number T35014. What we did on this episode, you may ask. We painted the camo, buttoned up all the car, we attached the cell onto the vehicle, did some slight weathering, of course, and the weathering is not done because I will need to integrate the whole thing to the base I intend to do, so more weathering on the vehicle is coming on the future, but for the time being we are 90% done. So to do a quick recap, what I did, I applied the camo, the decals, attached the clear parts and buttoned the car up, so beetle is ready, and did some slight weathering. Nothing further for me to say. I want you guys to take a seat, make yourselves comfortable, crack the mandatory cold one, and let's see what me and Past George have in stock for this episode. Well guys, time for us to begin part number 4 of our Volkswagen Beetle Type 82E, and there is nothing other left than painting the exterior, applying the camouflage, do some slight weathering, etc. Now, how am I going to approach this, you may ask? And here is a thought, because I haven't exactly planned it step by step, but I will think about it now. I'm gonna state my thoughts and we're gonna see how it goes. I could button this up, and when I say button this up, close it like so, and apply glue, etc. You know how the deal goes, but I would like to leave it as two separate pieces because I wanna attach the windows, windshields and clear parts. So here is how I am going to approach this thing. I am going to paint it, to base coat it at least, while it is in two separate pieces. I then will proceed with camo once again in two separate pieces. I will for camo I may put it like this, to line up the camouflage that I wanna do, and then I am going to pop the top off, attach the clear parts, and then button it up for eternity. So that's my plan. That's how I am going to approach this. I don't want to bore you any further, and I am going to start applying our dark yellow camouflage. This is going to be our base coat. Well guys, I have returned and we have completed our dark yellow base coat. As you can see, this is how the Beetle is looking at the moment. Of course, I am going to tell you that the shell is not glued in place. As I've said before, I need to attach the clear parts first and then glue it in place, and in order for me to attach the clear parts, I need to finish with the camo. Now, another thing that I want to point out before I proceed further with the camo is that I found this little vehicle quite challenging to paint. You may ask me why, and let me explain. For whoever, for the guys that stop here for the first time, watch my channel for the first time, I have to tell you that I paint stuff using my paint brushes. So this vehicle has long curves, long smooth curves, like the roof, the front hood, the rear. You know, everything is a quite long curve, which makes painting with a paintbrush difficult, because these curves are susceptible to leave brush strokes. So how I avoided this, I kinda avoided this. Okay, I have one or two brush strokes visible, but it's okay. I am going to hide them further on, continuing further on. What I did to remedy the situation, to minimize the brush strokes, I have thinned my paint enough. This result is after 4 or 5 coats of thin coats of paint. I proceeded steadily. One coat, let it dry. Second coat, dry. Third, fourth, fifth, etc., etc. As I've said, not as I've said, as always, I have moved my paintbrush on a specific direction each time, and I continued working and adding up layer after layer of paint, and this is how it looks like right now, and I am pretty pleased. To be honest with you guys, I quite enjoyed the challenge of painting, of base coating this. Now it is time for me to apply the second color, the second camo color, and what helps me to decide which color to apply second. Let's move this aside and let's grab the instructions. Quite a while ago, a fellow YouTuber and friend, which goes by the name Ozzy Scale Modeler Secret, made a video that he breaks down camo composition. If I remember it, and if I find this video, I will leave a link to the description below. You guys need to go and check this out. So in his video, Ozzy broke down camo composition. So he teached me that in camo we have colors. You know, we have, of course, and we have colors. Okay, we have how can I say it? We have colors that cover the majority of the vehicle. That's the way I am gonna describe it right now, because I cannot find the proper term. Anyway, of course, and in this case, our the first color that we need to apply, the base coat, is dark yellow, as I've done. Now the second color is the color that covers the majority of the vehicle. In this case, if you look closely at the painting guide here, our second color is this one, which is a color labeled with letter H, which is none other than red brown or rot brown. So this is the second color that I am going to apply. This is the second color that covers the majority of the vehicle. That's going to help me decide which one. So I am going to start from a corner. Probably I am going to start from over here, trying to copy this side, which is the right side of the vehicle as I look at it right now from my point of view, and I am going to try to copy as best as I can the camo scheme from here. Then I am going to move on the top, and at the end I am going to move onto the left side of the vehicle. Of course, I am going to try to replicate the camo I see over here at the paint guide as best as I can. Of course, and I'm going to freehand some parts here and there, but I am going to follow this thing as closely as I can. How I do that? I choose a specific corner to start working from. I stop for 5 minutes, look at this picture for a while, and I decide where I do wanna start. Where is my starting point? Probably here my starting point will be this area, which is this area. So I'm gonna start painting this fender, and then I'm gonna move. I am gonna try to spread in the rest of the vehicle. Now, for the red brown color, my choice is none other than Vallejo Model Air 71-71 German red brown. I am going to thin this down quite a lot, 50-50 I'm gonna say, or 70-30, something like that. 70% of color to 30% of water, and I am going to go slow. I am going to apply a thin coat of camouflage, and then I am going to apply a second coat over that thin coat of camouflage to give it, to give the color more saturation, if that makes sense. And we have the first layer of camo done, guys. Here is how it looks, and I know that you are not impressed at the time being. To be honest with you, I am not impressed either. I always think that it looks crap until I finish a camo pattern, looking at halfway there doesn't help. You always believe that you are making something wrong, but stick with it, stick with me, and it will look good. As I've said, I have started from this corner, done all this side, then move upwards, and then I just freehand painted this side. To be honest with you guys, following this camo pattern is really difficult because shapes and sizes are really fluid, and I cannot exactly replicate them, but I took my time and worked my way slowly. Now we are going to move on the dark green camo application. My choice is once again Vallejo 71019 camo dark green, and I am going to follow the black, patterns. Once again, I will start from a corner of my liking, from a corner that I believe that I can copy. I can copy the best, and I am gonna proceed forward. Okay guys, looks like camo is done. I am pretty happy with it. I have been looking at it for at least 10 minutes to make sure that I am happy with how it looks. As I was painting the green parts of the dark green parts of the vehicle, I have added some more red brown here and there to make it more complex as I see fit. and this is how it is looking. Majority, I think everything is dry to the touch right now, and we are ready to move to the next step. Which is the next step, you may ask? Now the next step for me is to add the decals, because you may ask me why now. I am going to add the decals right now because I want to integrate them with the whole vehicle. Not sorry, scratch that. I wanna add the decals now because I wanna unify them with the whole vehicle in the weathering step. You know, I don't wanna weather the whole vehicle and then add decals that they look brand new or just there. I want them to integrate themselves into the vehicle, if that made sense. And what's gonna help me integrate is weathering. Okay guys, quick update. Decals are in its respective places. I have added rear and the front license plate, if license plate was a thing back then, and I have added the small decals here, indicate the weight thing on its corner of the vehicle. So now what's my next step? My next step will be, of course, to do a pin wash onto the vehicle to accentuate the details, you know, like seam lines, etc., etc., and of course to unify the whole thing. And as you probably can see, and I'm saying probably because my camera is not as good as I want it to be, I have gave it a quick pin wash with dark brown and cleaned it, and then I have gave the whole vehicle a filter to unify the camo, you know, to bring everything together. This is how it looks at the time being, and I am really happy with it. We can have a good look at the details, at the complex shapes of this vehicle. And now it is time for us to move forward. Now what's my next step, guys? My next step is to attach the clear parts and finally button up the shell onto the rest of the vehicle. Now what I am going to use for the clear parts, what I always use, PVA glue, white glue. To be honest with you guys, it is the only thing that I have found that it works, mainly because it doesn't emit heat when while drying, and because it is always drying clear. So guys, another update. What I have been really busy. I have done quite a few stuff. As you can see, I'm gonna start from the most obvious one. As you can see, the beetle is buttoned up, no gap, no nothing. Everything felt in place as it meant to, of course, and I had to press the rear part of the vehicle a little bit until the glue cured in place, but everything else was just spot on. Now apart that, let me dust the vehicle a little bit off. My god, dust is everywhere. So apart that, I have glued the clear pieces together, and I want your attention for a moment. So I want your attention when it comes to clear pieces. In this kit, and let me grab the instructions. As you can see, all the clear pieces are labeled with the same number, and I am talking about let's talk about the rear windshield. As you can see, both of the pieces are labeled with number 17, but be wary that pieces can go one way in. You have to flip them and find the proper way to attach them, because otherwise you might have some nasty ridges. And when I say ridges, I am talking about windshield not sitting flush in its frame, sitting like this. So be sure that you test fit the clear parts first and then apply the glue. Now, what I use to glue them together, this stuff. This stuff it's from an arts and craft store over here that we have over here in Greece. For the Greek guys that watch me, the store is Jumbo, and this jug of glue is really cheap and really good for what it does. As you can see, it is white craft glue. It may be white colored, but believe me, it dries totally clear, and here is the evidence. The beetle is the evidence, guys. Although in a couple of pieces of clear, I have smeared them with a little glue, mainly at the corners. Glue has totally dried clear, and you cannot even see where I applied it. So I used the white craft glue to the frame to attach the clear parts. And another thing for this glue is that it is really strong. Here you can see I am tapping it and it doesn't go anywhere. I am shaking the model and the parts are in place, still in place. Now, as I've said, I have attached all the clear parts. I have been extra careful to attach them properly in place, waited for them to dry, and then I came back to attach the window wipers over here, one and the other one. I have detail painted them. Of course, the dark yellow is our usual dark yellow from Vallejo 71025, and the dark part, the wiper itself, is none other than Vallejo 71057 black. Another thing that I have attached is the rear, the tail lights. Now, tail lights were clear pieces, and I am always doing a small trick when it comes to clear pieces. What's that trick, you may ask? I paint first the place that I am going to attach the clear pieces. In this case, I painted the flat area over here with 71064 chrome, just to help the clear piece have to be more shiny, you know, give it more depth, make it look more like a tail light or a headlight or whatever kind of light. And then I have used onto the clear piece this glue from Hambrol. Over here at the lid it says 1321, and this is clear red color. This is an enamel product, probably an enamel. A fellow modeler had it in his disposal. He had no need and he gifted it to me. Jar is almost full, and until it finishes I am gonna use this little puppy. This thing takes quite a while to dry, but when it dries it works like a charm. So that's my go-to clear red when it comes to the tail lights and lights in general. Apart that, I have done nothing else. Now I am toying with the idea of chipping it. Now, what's my thought on chipping? Now, I don't want to go overboard and chip the ever-living hell out of it, because that's not realistic, and to be honest with you guys, I care for my build to be realistic. Some of the guys chip the majority of the vehicle, which is, to be honest, if you ask me guys, which is okay. If it is your build, you can do whatever you like, but it is artistic, it is not realistic. And why it is artistic? Because through my personal experience, army paint is thick and it won't chip away. You know, these vehicles may be on the field, but they are not, you know, on the field for 30 or 40 years, not maintained properly, so they won't be rust buckets. And believe me guys, if you were a tanker or a soldier or whatever, and you were operating these vehicles, you would be extra careful with them, and you would be maintaining them as often as possible, because let's face it, from this vehicle, which is a tool, your life depends on it and on its well-being and on its ready to use. So you have to maintain it, which means that this vehicle won't have a ton of chips. It won't be a rust bucket, it won't be nothing. It will have chips, some here and there, but not a whole lot of them. Now, in order for me, that's my initial train of thought. In order for me now to see where I am going to apply my chips, I have to think about a few stuff first. Since I am going to put this on a diorama, I have to think first where this vehicle operated. So I have to think first what kind of base I'm gonna create. So I am going to create a mountain road. This mountain road, what this mountain road will have? Is it going to be muddy or is it going to be dry? In my case, I don't want to do mud this time. I want to do a dry a mountain road, because up there weather is cold, and I don't think that the road would be wet, except if it rained about an hour ago. So it's gonna be dry and cold. Mountain dirt roads have pebbles, and since this vehicle is operated over there, I am sure that some pebbles and stuff would hit over here, would hit the car over here at the fenders. So the only spot that I am going to chip are the fenders, and when I'm talking about the fenders, I am talking about this side all the way down and all the way up until here, the rear fender. Now I'm not gonna go overboard, and I am just gonna apply a few chips here and there. And guys, I think that we are done for the time being. Here it is how it looks. I don't know how much my camera can catch of it. I didn't want to go overboard, and I didn't want to have a really faint effect as well, so I opted to keep myself constrained, you know, not do much, not do little. There is a small gap in between. Less is more in this case with chipping. What I have used is Vallejo Panzer Aces 302 Dark Rust, I have thinned it down and used a really fine tip brush like this one to 00. Now it is clean, of course, and I have applied the chips over here one by one, steadily, calmly and steadily. I took my time and I did that thing. I have also applied some chips over here in the front, but a few of them you won't be able to see them, and over here in the rear bumper. And that's our beetle, and that's how our beetle is looking for the time being. And I think that it is time for us to wrap this episode up. And with all that said and done, we have made it to the end of this episode. On our next episode, we will, of course, start working on our base. On our mountain road and our mountain top, to be honest with you guys, and if we are lucky and finish that in a whole episode, I am gonna add some more weathering onto the beetle, because I will need to integrate the vehicle with the base. I will need to unify the whole thing. Anyway, I hope that you guys found this video helpful and interesting, and stick along for the next one, of course. Before I go, I wanna thank each and every one of you guys that watched this video. A special thank you to my old and new subscribers. You guys are the best, and you are the reason I keep doing these videos. Now, for the newcomers out there that encounter one of my videos for the first time, welcome guys. I hope that you like what I do. If so, you all know what to do. Leave a like, comment with your thoughts and opinions, share the video if you believe it deserves to be shared, or even consider subscribing for more builds to come your way. Until the next time, fellow modelers and friends, take care and model on. It was that Mofo Daemon, signing out.